On May 19, 2017, Tampa police got a call that quickly turned from routine to terrifying. A man had just walked into a local smoke shop, holding a gun and shouting that he'd killed 2 people. Officer Wallach was the first to arrive and found 22-year-old Devon Arthurs outside, holding a handgun and repeating, "Shoot me in the head." After a tense and dangerous standoff, she was able to calm him down and take him into custody. Just across the street, police entered the apartment Arthurs shared with 2 roommates and made a grim discovery. Andrew Oneschuk, 18, and Jeremy Himmelman, 22, were both dead from severe head injuries. What unfolded next shocked everyone. These roommates were connected to a violent neo-Nazi group called the Atomwaffen Division, known for extremist plans and bomb-making.
For the record, my name is Kenny Necklinger. I'm a detective with Tampa Police. This is Gary Sandell, also detective with Tampa Police. We're here at 411 North Franklin Street, Police Headquarters, in reference to a homicide investigation. And that investigation case number is 17-260921. The date is May 20th, 2017. It's about 1:24 a.m. Also here with us is, sir, can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Devon Sean Ryan Arthurs.
And your date of birth, please?
My date of birth is March 18th, 1999.
Okay. And Devon, before I read you, are you familiar with your Miranda warnings?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had them read to you before?
I had them read to me by a police officer on the way here.
On the way here, you read them to you? Okay.
Right. Yeah, right.
Okay. Did you understand them when the officer read them to you? Did you have any questions about it?
No, I don't have any questions.
I'm going to read them to you again, so forgive me. I'm not to insult you, but it's just it's what we have to do is for your protection.
Yeah.
And before I do that, I want to make sure that I'm dealing with an individual here who has a clear mind. Are you under the influence of any narcotics or alcohol or any?
I'm completely sober.
Okay. No prescribed medication, no cold medicine, nothing at all.
No.
Okay. Do you or have you ever been diagnosed with any kind of mental illness or anything like that might prevent you from having a conversation where you understand what I'm saying or understand what you're saying?
No, I don't. I've never been prescribed with that. But I wish I went to a hospital before this. I wish I had listened to my family and just I wish I had followed what they were recommending me to do and stuff like that.
What's that regarding?
Regarding me going over there and going to get help, going to a hospital or something like that.
Okay. Is this something you discussed with your family in the past?
Yeah, it was mainly over depression and stuff like that.
Okay.
But never over it was never anything to this severity. Never, yeah.
Are you taking any medication at all? You never got to that point.
Never got to that point.
Okay. All right. But so up to this point, you've been able to understand any conversations you've had with any other officers or any other individuals you've come across?
Yeah.
You're understanding our conversation so far with no problem?
Yes, I am.
Okay. With that being said, what I'm going to do is, again, not to insult you, but I have to, just to make sure that you're going to be able to follow along with me. Your education level, how far did you go to school?
I dropped out of school.
And what grade?
I dropped out at 10th grade.
10th grade?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go to school here in Tampa?
No, I went to school in Orlando. I went to Lake Howell High School.
Okay, and in 10th grade, did you complete 10th grade?
No, I left midway in.
Okay. Do you know how to read and write, though, the English language?
Yeah.
Okay, do you speak or write any other language?
No.
Okay. I'm going to ask that you follow along with me. I'm going to read it out loud. I'm going to ask you to follow here with me as well, but if you have any problems or any questions, I'm going to stop at the end of each sentence. You just feel comfortable in asking me to explain it further, okay? All right. And for the record, I'm reading from TPD Form 310. And it's consent to be interviewed concerning an offense of, and as we've already discussed, as you've already made aware, it's a homicide investigation.
Okay.
This says you have the right to remain silent. You understand what that means?
Yeah, of course.
If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can be used against you in court. You understand what that means?
Yes.
You have the right to consult with an attorney before you make a statement or answer any question, and the right to have an attorney present during questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If you want an attorney but cannot afford to hire an attorney, who won't be appointed to represent you before and during questioning free of charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to use any of these rights at any time you want during the interview, and you may stop the interview at any time. Do you understand all that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. With these rights in mind, I'm going to ask this sentence right here, and if you are willing to talk to me now, write your name in here. I've had these rights read to me. I understand them, and I'm willing to talk at this time. No threats or promises of any kind have been made to coerce me to make a statement. Do you understand that last part?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you understand these rights, I ask you print your name here.
Yeah.
Print and sign at the bottom, and then your initials up there as well.
Right here?
You can, initials right there.
Do I check that, or do I?
You can, yeah, you can check it.
Okay.
There you go.
And then I put right my name.
Initials here,
Oh, okay, my bad.
and then print your name on that line.
All right. Before we begin like this, when we go to the jail, can I please speak to the doctors there? They told me that I can talk to doctors when I get there.
Of course. I don't run the jail,
Yeah.
but when we get there, we'll explain. Are you feeling any physical ailments right now?
I don't feel physical ailments. I feel like I felt very calm and collected after I did it. I felt like I wasn't really capable of feeling empathy for it until we, like, I'm afraid of, I feel like I have no, like, I don't want to harm anybody in this room. Like, I don't feel like that, but I'm concerned about how I would react to being around people there.
Like maybe other inmates, that kind of thing?
Well, I'd be concerned about being around there because I don't want to harm them.
Understood.
I feel horrified. Like, I feel horrified by what I've done, but I also realize two reasons why it happened. It was not like I already have pretty much pled guilty to this in the sense of that these people were not innocent people.
No, that's what I'll get into. We talked about that briefly when you came in here. Is that your feelings of or lack of empathy, may be understood when you explain to me.
All right, I'll
the
explain
people.
who these are.
And all we ever want is the honest truth. That's all
All
we
right,
want.
I'll give you that.
The detective wrapped up the necessary documentation for the interrogation, and from here on, it will be all mind games.
Okay.
These people, I'll tell you exactly what happened today.
Yeah, take it from the beginning, man.
So I remember, I woke up. I didn't wake up thinking that I had harmed somebody today. And I remember, I'm very, very angry about what goes on in Iraq and Syria, with like the coalition bombings. I don't like the people that get killed there. And I remember they kept on getting me angry about that, kept on calling me goat fucker, etc. because of my faith. And I got very, very angry by that.
Who are they?
The people that I killed, Andrew Oneschuk and Jeremy Himmelman.
Okay.
And I remember I was getting continually angry and stuff like that. And then I was in a wire chat, which is an encrypted conversation with all these people. And they're criticizing me for my beliefs and saying stuff like, we need to kill every this and that. And then I'm getting very, very angry by that. And at a very bad turn of events in the other room, I'm disassembling a Wasser 10 with not the intent to harm anybody. And I remember when I did that, I hear Jeremy, he grabs my Quran off of the thing, and he says, "You have your book of fairy tales here." And that set me over the limit. And I remember in a blur, I shot them both, and I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't thinking sane. I wasn't thinking like a rational human being at that point. If I could go back, I would not do that, and I remember I was in a trance at that point when that happened. I wasn't thinking clearly. And I grabbed the Glock 17 that was in the condo, and I immediately went to the Tampa Hamptons and I told people, I said, I killed 2 people, and I did it because of the coalition bombings, and I did it because of this. But I had no intent to harm anybody there. I had no intent, and I didn't. I had plenty of opportunities to. I did not.
I spoke to a woman that was there, and that's how she described it.
I remember I left there and I went to the Green Smoke Shop. I didn't put a single finger on those people. I just went there and told them the same thing. I was there because I was in a trance. I was afraid. I didn't know how I should react to things, and I couldn't just. My faith kept me from just shooting myself, so I can't just do that.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, I might as well be killed by a police officer. So I tell those people when I go to them, I'm not going to harm you people. I'm not going to hurt any of you people. The only thing that I did in terms of damage is I destroyed some of the products inside there because I was in a trance. I was very angry. I had no control over myself. And I remember I told them, and I kept my promise, I didn't harm them. the police officers come in and they're not what I expected. I was expecting a SWAT team to come in and just put me down.
Mhm.
I don't. My point is that I'm not a monster, but I don't feel like I'm sane. I don't feel like I'm capable of pretty much like functioning. Maybe I'm saying that because of what I've done. I feel it's tragic that a loss of life has happened. And I remember when they came in, I heard them speak. I saw their facial features and stuff like that, and I could tell that they were humans. Like they were normal people.
Who?
Well, the police officers.
Oh, okay.
And I had no intent to harm any of the civilians there at the Tampa Hamptons. And I remember when I talked to these police officers, they handled themselves professionally and very well, and I calmed down a whole lot. I had one of the hostages there. I said, "Hey man, can you please grab me Coca-Cola?" And he did. He opened it for me. I drank it. And I remember I just calmly put down the weapon. I never held it up to them. I wanted to, but keep the finger off the trigger so they could shoot me down.
You talking about the officers?
Yeah, I wanted them, but I wanted to keep the finger off the trigger.
Sure. You don't want to harm them.
Yeah, and I remember I was still panicking, and I left, and I was still panicking, and I left or whatever. And I remember I was placed in the patrol car, and from then on out, I was driven back to where the crime scene was, pretty much. But
How did that happen? Did you direct the officer back there?
yeah, I did. I directed them back there. I was compliant. I was respectful. I didn't have any intent to harm anybody except for those two today.
You mentioned, take you back to, you mentioned, you used the word hostage.
I used it because of the literal sense of the word. I told
Tell me, did you walk in there and tell anybody they couldn't leave that place?
No.
You tell them,
I told the woman asked me, can I go back and call my husband? And I said, I'm not going to harm you. Just don't go back there. Just for now.
okay.
And I had no intent to harm them. I didn't point it at them. I didn't do anything like that. I had my finger off of the trigger the entire time. If I wanted to, I could have just
Sure.
warned them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that because I wanted to.
No, you're saying that you had the ability
Yeah.
to do it.
And I did
But,
not.
and that's why I think, if I may, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. You're saying that you feel that you're not acting as a sane person. To me, it sounds like you had a lot of control over yourself, and you chose to do certain things based on what you believe to be an insult, or a couple guys that were pushing you, bullying you, picking on you, is what it's picking on something you believe strongly in, your faith. You mentioned your faith.
Yeah.
Anybody else you encountered didn't give you a problem. You didn't give them a problem. So you sound like you sound like a man that said, if I may compliment you in some regard, you're not the person I think that you're basing your acts, or you're describing, or using your acts, or letting your acts define who you are. I don't think that's who you are.
I remember, and the thing that keeps me rational about this is that, like, I feel what I've done is horrible in the sense of that there's human life has been lost, and I feel that to be sad. I feel like I'm an animal, and I feel like I should be in a hospital somewhere, just, be getting medicine or something like that to help me. And I want you to know that, like, I realize the full extent of, like, their families are going to feel very bad about this, their loved ones, and I feel the utmost bad about that. But I also realize that these people, what they were planning with the explosives that were downstairs.
Yeah, well, tell me about that. What's that all about?
Atomwaffen Division is a terrorist organization. It's a neo-Nazi organization that I was a part of before I converted.
What's it called?
Atomwaffen Division.
Okay.
And I remember my roommate, Brandon, he's alive, the guy that was in the American uniform.
Uh-huh.
I hope he gets his shit together. I hope he gets his life together. He's a good person. But the things that they were planning were horrible. They're planning bombings and stuff like that on countless people. They're planning to kill civilian life.
Well, were they specific in their plans?
Power lines, nuclear reactors, synagogues, things like that. And the reason why, like, I mention this is because it's self-evident. You go into the place, like the same room where I unfortunately took their lives. There's a giant Azov Regiment flag that's in the background. Azov Regiment is an organization in Ukraine, which is an NS movement that crucifies people and has harmed a lot of people that came directly from there. These people were not good people, is what I'm trying to say.
You came directly from where?
Came directly from Ukraine for the conflict. And
Okay, you came from Ukraine. Okay.
No, excuse me, no, I didn't come from there. The flag did. I'm saying that
Okay.
I'm saying, like, for context, these people were not random people. They weren't. I've done something horrible. I should have gone to a hospital.
Brandon, Devin, how did you end up at that apartment? How did you move in with them, and how did that go?
I'll explain. It's like I remember.
Okay.
I remember when I was I'll just start from the beginning of like these beliefs and stuff like
Sure,
that. So
that's fine.
When I was 14, I first like started getting into these organizations and stuff like that.
Which organizations?
Neo-Nazis in the
Okay.
beginning. I remember I converted when I was 17.
Converted to what?
Islam. I remember I outgrew like the racist sentiments. I was like silly. And, I watched like, I'll be honest, like I'm sympathetic with groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and stuff like that. And I was very, very angry about the coalition bombing. So, that day I was watching videos of infants that were killed by American bombs.
Which day was that today?
Yeah, and that's what was driving me crazy. It's like, that was getting me, so I was sent berserk because of what they said. And I was also seeing the posts that was being made in an encrypted chat by other members about how they want to kill blacks and how they want to kill
Members of what? Which
the same organizations, or
Which organization is that?
Atomwaffen.
That one, the one that you were formerly a part of.
Yeah, formerly a part of. And I was living there because I was living primarily with the guy in the American uniform, the Brandon. And he's a decent human being that can be reasoned with. These guys that I killed, like they had some decent qualities to them. I had positive memories and negative memories of them. But overall it just sent me berserk when they said that. And I also saw these posts that were being made in the encrypted chat, and it kind of hit me. I'm like, these people are planning on killing a lot of people, a lot of innocent life. And couple that with what he said at the wrong time, at the wrong place.
He being
Jeremy and Andrew. I gunned them down. Okay. And I gunned them down. And I remember, and I don't feel proud of that. I don't feel happy about that. I wish I just contacted y'all and signed myself into a hospital or something like that.
What exactly did Jeremy say?
Well, Jeremy, they would say stuff like, I want to blow up refugee ships. They would say stuff like they want to go target like blacks, like how Dylan Roof did. These people, they were not just innocent people. They weren't just my roommates, is what I mean.
Have they ever done any bad things, specifically that you know about? Maybe that you were a part of, that you weren't part of?
I was never a part. We never targeted anybody, but we have plans. We have guys in the American military that literally would go to like bases and steal huge amounts of equipment. We're talking Kevlar, night vision, stuff like that, for the intent of criminal activity, i.e., targeting government structures, targeting people.
This is part of the group that you were that you were a part of? Or?
Yes, sir. Not to mention, like the morality of this group and how these people think. I remember, I did this in the past. I remember when we would help Azov Regiment in Ukraine by hacking telecommunication networks that were held by the separatists, right? So we'd hack factories and we'd shut down electricity. And I remember there was an article that a factory got shut down and 12 people had died, like, frozen to death, and I was horrified by that. I was absolutely mortified.
Because you were a part of that?
Yeah, I was mortified. I remember, and it was horrifying because I knew that nothing would ever come out of it. I would wake up each morning, my mom would tell me, like, good morning, and they'd have no idea. And I remember I brought this up to a few people that are part of the organization, and they just started laughing about it. They thought it was the funniest thing, and I was horrified by it. And it's like, I'm such an idiot for still living in that situation, for being at that apartment.
How long have you been there?
I've been there for several months. That's it.
Several months? Because my understanding is that Brandon just rented that apartment probably about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, about a month and a half, excuse me.
Okay, so you've been there since he rented it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
how about the other two guys? Were they part of it?
They've been here for a few weeks.
Oh, so you were first in there, they moved in after you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I never wanted to kill Brandon. I never wanted to kill anybody. I didn't wake up today thinking that. I just was sent berserk, and I was berserk by, like, in my head I'm literally thinking, like, I get to prevent some big attack, and I also get to protect the Muslims in America from this, and I get to...
By taking these two guys out?
Yeah. And it's like...
Because they're intent on some bad things.
Yeah, and it's like, and these people would laugh about the concept of, like, blowing up, like, refugee ships, and they had the explosives, they had the plans, they had the encrypted conversations.
These two individuals, or...?
The entire organization.
Okay.
And it's like, and the thing that gets me is, you know, I mean, I'm not going to try to act like I feel hard. Like I knew those people's families, you know.
Did you know those guys? You
I
know those guys pretty well?
I knew them. Like I knew them from even where they came from Boston. I remember I remember just like it's just it happened like a blur. And I remember I just was berserked by what they said.
How long had you known these guys?
I've known these guys almost for a year.
Okay. Where'd you first meet them?
Met them online first, and then I went up to Boston with Brandon, and I hung out with them for a few
You met
weeks.
Brandon online as well?
Yeah.
Okay. On a specific site? Was it the site you
It
mentioned?
doesn't exist anymore.
What was it? What was it called?
It was called tinychat.com third position. It was just tinychat.com.
Tiny Chat?
But it doesn't. Yeah, TinyChat.
Like small, tiny.
Yeah, but the thing is that TinyChat is like kind of like YouTube. It had a huge
Okay.
amount of channels and stuff like that on there. The real site where they where fascists organize and stuff is called Iron March, and then you also have Stormfront, and
Is that like that's like a social media group for
Yeah.
those? Okay.
Iron March, it's a whole website, and I know everything about that site and the people that are behind this shit, and I remember, I just feel I remember I was sitting in that cube or whatever, I was pacing back and forth, and I'm like thinking to myself,
Which cube?
the little in that
holding
room,
cell?
a whole-
Oh, just right over
cell.
here.
Yeah. I remember I was thinking you know, how could I have done this and stuff like that. And the only things that I could rationalize was you know, if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have shut this organization down by doing this, there'd be a lot more people dead than just 2 people from that organization.
Do you think by killing these 2 guys, you shut down the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Why is that?
when the police showed up to the location, they saw that there was explosives in the garage. If they access the computers, they can find that there's a lot of encrypted chats for the organization itself. It'd be easy to track down each member.
Are these 3 guys prominent members of those organizations?
Brandon's the leader of the organization.
He is?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I was a senior leader at one point, and I remember.
How many guys you got following you guys? How many guys are part of this organization?
60 to 70
Throughout the world? Throughout the country?
throughout the country, and these people were basically, if you're familiar with the Order of Bob Matthews or whatever, he was a guy that killed a bunch of federal agents and stuff like that. That's basically who they venerate. And these people, they have no human empathy like we do. It's hard to describe. I wish that if I could go back and do something over, I would sign myself into a hospital to work about my anger issues and my rational thinking skills, which I don't think is at par of
But I think this goes beyond anger issues. I think it's something a little deeper for you. I think it's more of it's a passion that you're passionate about doing good for people. Now, the manner in which you went about doing it today may not be something that is going to go over well, and it's not something you're proud of now. But I think your motivation was to protect a greater good.
Yeah.
Now this here is a lot to take in. From a psychological point of view, Devon exhibits signs of intense internal conflict and emotional turmoil. Several factors likely contributed to his breakdown. Identity crisis and radicalization. Devon's early involvement with neo-Nazi groups, followed by conversion to Islam, indicates a search for identity and belonging. Switching from one extremist ideology to another suggests deep inner confusion and vulnerability to radical beliefs. Cognitive dissonance. Living with former neo-Nazi associates while holding strong Islamic faith likely created severe cognitive dissonance. Mental stress from holding contradictory beliefs and values. This tension may have built up over time, increasing his emotional instability. Trauma and rage, triggered by ideological conflict. The ongoing violence in Iraq and Syria, coupled with personal attacks on his faith by those he lived with, likely intensified feelings of anger, betrayal, and fear. The act of Jeremy disrespecting his Quran was a direct symbolic insult that may have pushed him over the edge. Dissociation and trance state. Devon's description of acting in a blur and a trance-like state suggests dissociation, a psychological defense mechanism where a person detaches from reality during extreme stress or trauma, impairing rational thought and self-control, moral justification and lone vigilante mindset. Devon rationalizes his actions as a preemptive strike against a dangerous terrorist threat, which can be seen as a way to justify the killings and reduce guilt, a common coping mechanism in extreme cases. Meanwhile, Detective Wallach uses several effective techniques throughout the conversation. Non-confrontational, empathetic approach. Rather than attacking Devon, the detective listens patiently and validates parts of his experience. You're not a monster, you had a lot of control. This builds rapport and encourages Devon to open up honestly. Reflective statements and summarizing. The detective often paraphrases or summarizes Devon's words. You said you went into a trance, which shows active listening and helps Devon feel understood. Gentle challenges. Wallach lightly challenges Devon's self-assessment to prompt deeper reflection. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, encouraging Devon to consider his own responsibility more clearly without provoking defensiveness.
A greater good.
Yeah, it wasn't, and I was also very angry because, I mean, he insulted the Quran and stuff like that. So I will say that
there's some petty anger involved. Yeah, I got you. No, they were tweaking you, and you get pissed off.
And it's like the reason why I say this is that, like, I had thought, like, some of these things before. Like, I gotta go do something about the bombings. I gotta go do something about that, like in Syria and Iraq.
What kind of things were you talking about doing, though? What kind of action were you thinking about taking?
I was thinking about, like, just having, like, a hostage situation like I did over there, and just kind of, like, talking to people. And just, like, you know, I get arrested, and I probably get...
like you did over at the smoke shop?
Yeah.
Go in there with a gun, kind of hold people down without really...
Yeah, and try to
get through.
Try to get not to them individually, but maybe, like, get to the media, like message.
So kind of bring attention to your cause.
Yeah, and it's like, and I didn't, you know, and I feel horrified by what happened today. I don't feel happy about what happened, all right? And I feel like I'm an animal to a degree.
Well, I mean, there's some, you know, animalistic qualities as to what occurred and how you went about doing it. Like I said, you tell these guys today. Walk me through today. You're there all day. The three of you guys.
Yeah, we were there all day. Except Andrew was at work for a little bit of it. He was at a recycling plant working. And I remember he came home. I remember, like, I was on the encrypted chat and they're saying all this stuff, like, you know.
What's this encrypted chat?
It's a thing called Wire, and
WIRE. Wire.
Yeah, Wire. It's an encrypted chat, and there's an Atomwaffen chat on there. People are, like, talk about, like, bombings, robbing, raiding military bases and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, my point that I know, like, I'm kind of beating a dead horse here is that this is basically one terrorist killing two others, and I'm not.
You consider yourself a terrorist?
By the definition of what I've done.
You mean just by what you did today, or
what I did today?
In?
Yeah, what I did today and what I was involved in, and you know, I don't feel. Can I go grab that water that's in the other room?
Absolutely.
I'll grab it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. I remember just, like, this is never going to be reviewed except by, like, people in power. Like, people can't see this online. People can't listen to this.
No.
This will never be publicly, like, released ever.
What? This being what?
The recording right here.
No, a police report becomes public record.
So you're telling me that this becomes public record?
Police report, not the audio recording.
All right.
Later down the line.
Well, later down the line could get me killed. Later down the line could have somebody, if assuming I get some kind of.
Who are you concerned about killing?
I'm concerned about these people trying to murder.
The people that you're the organization that you were a part of, that were, I mean, what you were a senior member.
Yes, and
let me ask you this, and forgive me, because I'm just trying to. You're educating me in this whole process. So yeah. I'm going to ask questions as a student sitting here. That is. You believe, you have a faith, you said. What is your faith?
I'm a Muslim.
Okay. Does that coincide with this organization you're part of?
No, not at all.
So how long have you been a Muslim?
I've been a Muslim since June of 2016.
Okay, so fairly recently.
Yeah.
Have you still maintained a part in this organization, or is that about when your ties to this organization were cut?
My main ties to this organization is, like, I was a part of it out of necessity. I needed a place to stay away from my family. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I should have lived with them. I was just trying to get out of the house and stuff like that. And I would try to, like, I managed to convince some people to, like, drop a lot of these beliefs and stuff like that. And I can feel thankful that I've done something like that. That's why I was a part of it. It was mainly to try to get people away from the shit and try to basically.
That's when you first joined up?
No, I was already part of it when I converted. When I converted, I was like, while I'm in here, I can't just leave it. If I left it, then I'd probably be killed or something like that. But if I'd either be killed or something in that nature. But if I didn't do that, then when it comes down to it, like then I might as well try to convince people while I'm there, like almost like basically convince people, like don't do this, don't throw your life away.
But you made no secret about it to Jeremy and Andrew and even Brandon, I imagine, of your faith, right? They knew what you were about.
Yeah.
And they still tolerated you.
Yeah, they still tolerated. Yeah, they did barely.
But why? Why?
I honestly don't really know. I think Brandon has a true like connection with me.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't have killed Brandon today. I wouldn't have done that even if he was there. I wouldn't have done that. But I think he can be reasoned with. It's the people that are with him that feed to that beast, kind of.
Do you think those other two could have been reasoned with, but today they just kind of set you off by, one, you were already predisposed by the stuff you were watching on the internet, and then they were just needling you with the comments they made? Did you think before that these two could be reasoned with, or did you already mark those two as these guys are just beyond help and they need to be eliminated? I mean, what was your thought process for keeping?
I think it's honestly both. I think that if Brandon told them like it's time to get rid of Devon, we need to take him into like the woods and shoot him, I think that they definitely would have done that. I think that if this was made public, I'd definitely be killed.
Okay.
I would definitely that like 100%. Like my hands on the Quran would be killed. They are very, very, very serious about what they say and stuff like that, and what they hold in their beliefs.
Did you feel that time was coming? Do you think Brandon was ready to give that order? Do you think these two were ready to do this upon them, take it upon themselves?
I don't know, but there was a lot of hostility towards when I did that. So I think there's certainly a possibility. Yeah, well, I mean, not just like since June, but I mean like since like today, he said, this is a book full of fairy tales, and he insulted me, and it's like, I remember they said something like, who cares if a bunch of get killed over there, stuff like that. And I remember that really set me off. And it was also like when I saw the Wire chat, I'm like, well, if these people are planning all this and planning to kill all these innocent people, I'm going to take a few of them with me, and I'm going to try to basically do whatever I can to prevent whatever I can. I was angry on two fronts. One, they insulted my religion, and two, because they were literally planning to murder people.
And by these two in particular, the Wire chat was these two were part of that.
Which computer are you talking about that you did with this encrypted chat?
Every computer in that house.
But no, the one that you saw, were you watching?
Yeah, it was my computer, my personal house.
Where is that one?
It's in my condo. You'll find I pay a lot of attention to like Syria and Iraq, like the conflicts over there.
But inside the condo, there's two bedrooms and a main.
It's the living room.
Which one's your room?
The living room is where I keep my computer.
Okay, so that one right there, the one that's in the corner there, the main, looks like a TV in the corner. That's your setup.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's essentially your room.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember you were in the other room. You were saying, like, I heard the word HMTD referring to the explosives.
Yes, we're discussing it. You familiar with that?
100%. I know these people. They know exactly how to build. They knew exactly how to build bombs that could have destroyed this entire building.
Who are these people?
Atomwaffen. These people.
Okay.
Yeah, these people.
Not these three individuals in there, they're lumped in with that. Brandon, Andrew, and
Brandon's literally somebody that has the knowledge to build a nuclear bomb. I'm not meaning about that. He's literally somebody that he's somebody that literally went to school for 4 years to study radiation specifically to build a nuclear bomb. And
do you know if these materials are inside that condo right now?
No, there's no nuclear materials. Actually, there is. Yes, there is nuclear materials in that garage. There is some nuclear materials.
Okay, what's in that garage? In
that garage is HMTD. Yeah, those explosives. Yeah, some ammonium nitrate, I believe, and I know that there's some radiated materials that he was able to bring in through the Bahamas. And because he's a Bahamian citizen, he was able to bring it in.
How did he bring it in?
He brought it in through the airport. He was able to spoof the people that were working there with the TSA.
Okay.
And,
And do you know is it kept in a particular vessel inside the garage? Do you know where it's kept?
It's just it's in the garage, or it's in his or it's in the supply closet in his room.
Okay.
And you'll know it because there's a giant SS flag above a lot of the equipment, ammunition, and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, the more that I tell you, the more you see the scale of how big things really are.
Yeah, no. This is, absolutely serious stuff. So that's, it's what,
So it's
any
not-
information you can give me to assist with, like I said, with combating these, these misguided individuals, to say the least. Then, I think we should make the effort to do that.
And it's really like the thing that really shocks me as well with it, and about like a lot of these organizations, is that they're everywhere. They're everywhere, all over America, all over Europe, and stuff like that. You have people constantly planning to bomb migrant centers, constantly planning on bombing government buildings, just like the one that we're sitting in, and stuff like that. You know, it's a real deal. They have a real intent. Like, I need you both to pretty much swear me this is not going to get released. I can't give certain information that that's on. I'll be killed.
What I can do is I can restrict certain information inside the report. Okay, sensitive information. All right.
Right.
If this is deemed sensitive, which it certainly sounds like you're going that direction, then we can make.
Well, I'm telling you something that I wanted.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you stuff that the FBI should also be hearing.
Okay.
And I'm telling you things that, agencies all over America, all over, like that. I'm not trying to sound like a schizo, because I know that I'm trampling over words and stuff.
No. You're within control, man. You're
All right.
you're good. Keep going.
And these people, I know, like in Russia and Belarus and Ukraine, we were talking about people that are embedded with NATO forces, and NATO is not even aware of it. People that literally crucify people and burn them to death in the middle of Ukraine because they're POWs captured captured from separatist forces, and it's horror. Like, there's people in Germany basically planning to place IEDs and stuff like that on roads in Dunkirk and near Berlin and stuff like that, to target refugees on buses and things like that.
I know we're talking on a broader scale, and I get. Can you bring me back to let's talk. Well, not just America. I'm going more specific than that. Let's talk about your condo. The four of you guys in that condo. Let's back you up to when you converted. What led to your conversion? What was that epiphany you had? Did you come across anything?
I remember I came across the Quran and started reading it. I was like, this is far better than Mein Kampf. This is far better than any of those.
How did you come across the Quran in the first one?
It was given to me. I remember I visited a mosque. I wanted to see what it was about. I wanted to see if what I was told was true. And I was wrong about what I had believed about those people. I was wrong about how I felt about certain races of people. I realized that, there's no point in having lingering hatred and stuff like that. There's no point in wanting to kill a man or a little girl just because she's black or Asian. And I remember I really held on to these beliefs. And that really clicked to me, and I started reading into it. I found the miracles of the Quran and the things that really got it. And that's what really sparked my interest into it. That's what really got me.
Did you have any guidance from anybody else that was maybe more familiar with the faith, or did you kind of self-taught?
Self-taught.
Okay.
I remember I would go to. This has nothing to do with what happened today, but just a little bit of context.
No, give me some background. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I remember I used to go to the mosque on Salai Avenue, a really big mosque. I remember I used to go to Masjid Abu Bakr. And those people are very kind and good-natured people. They wouldn't harm a fly. They don't talk about any of the conflicts or anything like that going on over there. So they're fine. They don't have anything to do with this. Just some context on how I really came to have this, and how, unfortunately, things have gone so out of proportion that it's led to what we have right now. I don't think, anybody wants to be here talking about, two young men that have died. And these people, they would seriously, they'd kill me if they heard me say this. I'm not really afraid of death. I'm mainly just concerned about at that point, if this ever got released publicly, if I had a family or something like that.
Understand?
I don't want.
Where is your family right now?
My family's
mom and dad,
Yeah.
sisters, brothers.
mom and dad. I have a brother in Arizona. I'm not really in contact with them.
Are they aware?
Yeah, I called them afterwards. I said I was freaking out. I didn't know how to react to it. I was kind of like, I was very angry about the coalition bombings. I was very angry about what they had said. And it was like, I kind of figured in my head, like, if I went up to people and I told them, like, oh, I just killed 2 people, I should try to make a message with it and try to make a point as well so that people can learn from it. You know, if I went in and I just started shooting random innocent people, that's not going to get my point across. They're just going to think, oh, whoever holds that viewpoint is insane, you know?
Yeah, what I think it goes against what point you're trying to make too.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I did that. I used the power that I had with that Glock pretty much to get that point across. And I didn't point it at anybody at the Tampa Hamptons. I only did it at that place because I saw that there was a narrow way. The store itself was very narrow, and I could have a place where I could. I was hoping that like I was so terrified. I was like I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life.
You're talking about the smoke shop.
Yeah, I'm in my.
Devon now reveals how his anger and frustration built up over time, especially fueled by global events like the bombings in Syria and Iraq. He admits to having petty anger, but also a deeper sense of moral outrage that pushed him toward drastic ideas. This can be attributed to ongoing exposure to extremism. Devon's involvement in encrypted chats, Wire, and his awareness of violent plots reveal how immersion in extremist circles normalized violent thinking and prepared his mindset for action. His conversion to Islam was recent and sincere, but it conflicted with his ties to the extremist group. He used his position within the group partly as a survival tactic, but also tried to influence others away from violence, highlighting his ambivalence and divided loyalties.
My life.
You're talking about the smoke shop.
Yeah, I'm in my mind. I'm thinking like I'm gonna go to prison for the rest of my life just because I killed pretty much 2 people that were planning on killing all these people. So I figured that I would try to have a SWAT team come and kill me without the intent to harm anybody there. And then those 2 police came in. I was like, well, shit, I'm not gonna kill these people. You know, they're not armored up. They don't have anything like that. And I remember I talked to them, and they handled themselves professionally. I was very calm, like when I was talking to them, just as calm as I am now. I was just drinking that Coke, as I said, and I just placed down the gun. And they're like, thank you so much for not doing this. Thank you so much. I'm like, look, like, you know, it's not that I wanted to kill you specifically. I didn't want to kill anybody here. It's just that I wanted to die because I was terrified of like, I couldn't fathom the idea of like, for one, I can't just kill myself, but for 2, like, I can't fathom the idea of going to prison for the rest of my life.
No, it's a lot to take in.
It was me panicking as well.
Yeah.
It was just, and I
you could have made a horrible situation much worse. And
Yeah.
You didn't. Back up to the apartment. You mentioned you didn't want to kill those people. Did you want to kill Adam and Jeremy, or Andrew and Jeremy?
No, when I woke up today, I only did that.
No, I know. When you woke up today. When did you formulate that idea? When did they get to the point where
when it just happened to be a really bad situation when I was disassembling and assembling a Wasser 10. I'm in that room.
A Wasser 10.
Yeah, Wasser 10. It's a Romanian Kalashnikov variant. I shot them with that rifle. So,
Okay, that's my next question. Where is that rifle now?
It's somewhere in the living room. I mean,
Oh, you left it behind the condo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't take it with me. I figured that like if I took it with me.
Do you recall how many shots you fired?
No, I don't recall. I know it was a blur.
Do you remember where they were when you shot?
They were in the room. They're in the bedroom that's next to the living room. And there's a bathroom connected. Sorry, it's just like it's a terrible.
No, I know. I'm sorry, but I mean.
No, it's fine.
Trying to bring you
It's
back
fine.
there, but we got to do it. So.
I know, and it's just like I remember.
What were they doing?
They were. He was about like they. I don't know what they were doing in there. Honestly, they were just like they were getting me. I remember like Jeremy like starts like basically like saying like I don't know why you have this book of fairy tale like shit right there, and is about to like throw it at me. And I remember I just go, oh really? Like, and I remember and this was after I had read all these people plotting and stuff like that on that wire chat. So I blast him once and he's shot in the chest. He's down. I double tapped to make sure that he's not in pain, and I didn't want
Double tapped him where?
Head. I think I shot
Jeremy.
him.
Okay.
Jeremy. Andrew freaks out. He starts running for his handgun. I got him down right there.
Where in the bedroom?
Yeah, the same room.
He's running for his handgun. Where's his handgun?
His handgun was on the corner with right there, and I gunned him down. I get two headshots right there, and they were down. I remember like I looked at them, and I'm very angry, and I'm thinking like in my head, you know, first you you know, you guys are plotting to kill people, and you have the audacity to insult me, and you're plotting to kill pretty much
And you stand there holding a rifle.
my people. Yeah, and I'm holding the rifle, and I see them dead, and I felt very cold. I felt very I didn't feel any gratification from it, but I also was very
Did you
calm and
expect to?
collected. No, I didn't. I was honestly, my first thought is, did this really happen? Did it really happen? Did this really just happen? You know, it's freaking out. Like I feel very cold. I'm like walking into the living room because I get away from that. I look back and I can see that there's smoke in the air, sort of, because of the firing.
Mhm.
Everything smells like sulfur. I still have somewhat of a ringing, and I still can smell sulfur. I think it might be my mind playing tricks on me, maybe. And I see them cold and dead just right there. And I remember just like seeing blood all over the walls and all over the ground. And I remember I was thinking like just God, why did it have to, you know, come to this? And I remember.
Do you remember how many shots you fired?
No,
Did you empty the magazine?
I didn't empty the magazine. I definitely had bullets left. And,
Okay.
and you know, I remember I grabbed the Glock. I grabbed the Glock 17.
Is that yours?
No, none of these rifles were mine. These are Brandon's. And
You said none of these rifles.
yeah, I mean the pistol wasn't mine. The handgun wasn't mine. And the rifle wasn't mine.
How do you have access to it? Is Brandon a lot you have access to it? Is it
Yeah.
all his community guns? So to
Yeah,
speak?
they're community guns.
So they're Brandon's guns?
Yeah.
What about the one that Andrew was going for?
That was his.
He's got his own?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that?
It was I don't know. I don't know what the
Handgun?
was. Yeah, handgun.
But you don't know what kind?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember
What about Jeremy? Has Jeremy got his own gun?
he didn't. He's planning on buying a Glock though. But
You don't have your own?
no, I don't. I don't
Okay.
have my own. I remember like when I shot him down like with the Wasser 10. Like I looked and it was pretty much like maybe I can count the shots, but it was like I know it was obviously more than 4.
We said the one in the chest,
One in the
yeah,
chest,
double
one in the
taps
head.
and 2 in the head, right?
Yeah, and then
We had one in the head.
one in the head, and then I made sure that. Sorry, it's hard to picture the.
No.
So
Well, man, how close do you think you got at any one time to when you shot these guys?
how close did I get? Like
The initial shot sounds like might have been some distance between you and Jeremy, but then double tapping, did you walk
5
up on him?
feet. No, I didn't. I didn't walk up. I didn't walk up point blank to shoot him, but I just went but it was something what felt like out of a movie. It felt like, I'm not saying that in a positive sense. It's like a horror movie kind of.
Kind of like an out-of-body experience, surreal.
I don't feel proud of it. Even if I feel wholeheartedly 100% with what I've told you and what I've done. I prevented the deaths of a lot of people. That's all I can really do at this point.
Well, I know you believe that, but I'm asking specifics. Do you know about any specific plans that these 2 individuals had?
Yeah, they're planning on going down south to Alligator Alley and destroying 500 kV lines that were going along the road there.
How are they planning on doing that?
They're planning on taking HMTD and placing it at the base of the thing and then blowing it up.
Just these 2 individuals?
Well, Brandon's
going to be a part of that as well?
Yeah, and I remember.
Did they expect you to be a part of that?
Yeah, they did. I wasn't going to be a part of that though.
Even with your current faith, they still expect you to go along with it?
Yeah, they were just, I guess. I mean, that's what, I know for a fact that they wanted me to. I'm just saying, I guess, because they were idiotic to think that I would have went to go do that with them. And I remember with the nuclear materials, he was planning on building a mortar and then firing it into there was a nuclear plant off the coast of Florida, and it's off the coast of Miami, and it's used to power that entire city in Fort Lauderdale and that kind of thing. And they were planning on firing that mortar of nuclear materials in it at that plant into the cooling things that are in the water. Mm-hmm. If that would have happened, that would have caused a massive reactor failure, which would have led to the entirety of the water around there becoming irradiated. And think about a BP oil spill, except it wipes out parts of the entire eastern seaboard.
What was their purpose for doing that? Or what would,
Because they want to build the Fourth Reich. They're delusional, man.
okay.
And they absolutely delusional.
Are there drugs involved? I mean,
No, there's no drugs involved.
This is all unadulterated, just thought. This is just their irrational thought.
It's not just the irrational thought when they're like getting the explosives together. When they have a guy in the U.S. Army that re-enlisted specifically for the group.
This being Brandon.
No, not Brandon. This is somebody else in the Midwest, Colorado, I think.
Who's that?
Jason. And
Jason, last name?
I don't know his last name.
Okay.
But he he re-enlisted. I'm just giving an example of some of the shit
Oh,
he
okay.
do. Like he re-enlisted specifically for the group to go into his supply room and steal stuff, like steal night vision goggles, take huge metric tons of ammunition as time went on. He planned on doing that, and he did do that. He got
What about Brandon? Because Brandon's currently in
he joined specifically for the knowledge and the training, and he wants to use that training against the government. He doesn't care about the United States. I mean, he literally had an American flag at the front door that he'd trample on every time that he'd walk in. Like literally, these people join the military specifically to get training, to get access to equipment, and get access to being able to kill people, and they and to be more efficient at doing so.
But we keep talking to these people in generalities. I want to specifically talk about the 3 individuals that lived with you at that time. Brandon was the only one that was in the military. Is that correct?
Yes.
Neither you nor the other two.
Well, actually, Andrew was in the French Foreign Legion for a little bit.
Okay.
And he phased out of it. He said that there were too many blacks in it, so he left. But he was a part of the French Foreign Legion at that point. And Jeremy was not in any armed services or anything like that.
How about you?
No, I was
not.
not.
Do any of you besides Brandon have any formal military training?
No.
Was Brandon helping you guys out? Was Brandon providing any kind of training to you guys that he was getting knowledge of in the military?
Yeah, Brandon was doing paramilitary trainings and stuff like
with
that.
With you 3 in particular?
Yeah, with us 3 and with a few other people.
And how did that go about? Where'd you guys do that?
We would go to the Ocala National Forest, and we would go into where there would be ranges that were pretty much never administrated by the people, and we would shoot. We would shoot like basically SKSs, AK-47s, and stuff like that.
Where did those weapons come from?
Those weapons came from Brandon going to arms list and buying it basically undocumented, which is legal in the state of Florida. But
so he was just buying outright.
Outright.
He wasn't stealing from any armory that he's a part of.
No, he never did that. Because his MOS didn't give him access to that kind of material.
What is his MOS?
25Q. He's somebody that specializes in communications specific, and he didn't do that because he didn't have access to it. He didn't have he didn't steal from them specifically because he didn't have access to those materials.
His motivation was specifically training.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what his.
The arms he would take care of was on his own.
Yes.
The training I would get from the U.S. military.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was basically like if you go into his condo, there's literally a portrait of Timothy McVeigh next to his bed.
You ever talk about McVeigh?
Oh yeah, he loved McVeigh. Loved McVeigh. He said that the only thing that McVeigh did wrong is he didn't put more materials inside the truck to bring the whole building down. So I mean, he absolutely venerated McVeigh. He loves North Korea too. Dude literally has a North Korean flag up if you go up the stairs. They're fucking crazy.
Devon's calmness and even pride during the interrogation reveal a complex psychological defense. He justifies his actions as stopping a greater evil, giving him a sense of control and purpose amid chaos. This moral disengagement and emotional detachment protect him from guilt, framing himself as a defender rather than a killer. Detectives recognize this mindset and respond with patience and respect, carefully challenging his narrative to maintain trust and encourage deeper reflection without triggering defensiveness. He even claims Brandon was crazy. Check out what comes next.
He literally has a North Korean flag up if you go up the stairs. They're fucking crazy.
Did Brandon ever specifically talk about doing anything similar to that to any government buildings?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
Any specific ones?
Government offices, federal buildings.
Just in general?
In general.
Did he ever sit down? Did you guys ever sit down together and plot out the operation?
Yeah.
You mentioned the Alligator Alley. Is there some plans that's in place?
It's not going to happen anymore.
Well, no, you've taken care of that. But I mean, where are those plans? Where were they found?
Plans were all said verbally. Things were not written down or typed specifically because of this reasoning. However, in the room where I killed them both, there's a giant map of the United States where we frequently go there and we would plan and we would look at streets and roads and stuff like that.
But not actually plot anything. It'd be just conversation.
Yes, verbal. And
I wouldn't go into that map and see things circle
Yeah,
around.
there's nothing circled.
Push pins, put in certain targets or anything like that. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Okay.
And exactly because of this reasoning. And I remember I tried to throw them off, getting them to do stupid shit that would get them caught.
Such as what?
Such as it's very, very technical, very specific stuff, but I would say stuff like I would give them bomb recipes that were
basically duds that wouldn't work specifically, like, to drive all the way out there and for it to be an operational failure.
Now, by they being those two or the three of them?
Three of them. It's just that I don't really have that much knowledge on bomb making.
Who has that knowledge?
Brandon's an engineer, as well as the fact that he studied like the radiation stuff.
So Brandon's the brains when it comes to the explosives.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
that stuff in that apartment is him.
Yeah, that stuff is him. But Jeremy and Andrew would also help with like giving Brandon money to purchase that stuff and that kind of thing. So
they would fund it, but he was the guy that would handle it.
Yeah.
Those two guys, that would be bad news if they were in there messing around with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
how about you? You got any familiarity with that stuff?
I think I have basic familiarity.
Do you feel comfortable with, or is that again, hey, that's Brendan's thing? I know enough not to
feel comfortable.
Blow us all up.
I feel comfortable, like if I was to move it around, but I mean, like a lot of that is not shock sensitive, i.e., that if you were to send people in there, like a bomb dispersal unit, to go in there and examine it, it's not shock sensitive stuff. So if you slammed it at the floor, it's not going to explode. Maybe there's something in the cooler with all the duct tape around it that might be shock sensitive.
Is that in the garage?
Yeah, it's
what's
all
in the cooler?
I don't know. He brought that over from his old house. Like his family let him keep this shit.
This is Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandon's family didn't know about the explosives though.
Does Brandon's family know about what he's into?
Yeah, they don't like it, but they never did anything about it.
Okay, so they acknowledge it, but he's off on his own.
Yeah, it's just it's really kind of surreal for all this to be happening, because like I've heard them saying, that's why I'm kind of saying like that entire tape needs to like be made sensitive, like this entire thing.
Just by you making that statement, it's sensitive, man. It's sensitive material.
All right.
So we're talking about sensitive material, man. You made that clear. So
well, it's like I'm like in any like case of like if I don't think that I will. I think that I'll either end up like after this. I think that I would be transferred over to the county jail and basically be given a court hearing after that, and go through the court stuff, and then I'd probably be thrown under the bus and go to prison for a while. Or I would go to an asylum, which I would prefer because I feel like I can get help there. But in any case where that doesn't happen and I get some kind of plea bargain for what I've said and what I've pretty much prevented from happening.
Well, I mean, the information you have, specifically these terroristic threats, these actions from this group that you are or were a part of.
Yeah.
All that stuff. FBI becomes aware of it, then maybe something they'd be interested in talking to you about, which, I don't know how that plays out for you with what's happened tonight or last night, but I mean, that's something that certainly will be considered.
All right. I mean, I would like, when can I, do you know when I can speak to an FBI agent or speak?
Well, it usually goes through the process. Unfortunately, at this point, we're at the very early stages of trying to figure out what happened and why it happened. I think you've done a great job on clearing a lot of that up for us, which, it's beneficial. It expedites the process. But it is a process. We at the state and local level then will be in contact with the FBI, which would be instantaneous in this matter. Okay? There's
all right, so you're going to contact, because
yes.
Well, I mean, assuming that even if I get that out, let's say that I even do like 20 years or something like that, or 30 years or some shit, I still would not feel comfortable being released with that still being there.
I understand. So right now, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, you're talking 20, 30 years down the line. I want to make sure that we have all the bases covered here. Is there anything else in that apartment or that condo that you think we should be made aware of, especially if we're going to go in there and do any kind of searching or investigation? What's in there that we need to be initially made aware of? You mentioned bombs. You mentioned things in the garage, or at least
the things in the garage are the bombs, pretty much, like explosive materials. There is no timed fused bomb there. There are explosive materials there for making bombs.
Nothing's been constructed.
Nothing's been constructed yet, but this is clearly stuff that is lined up for the explosives there.
That's the purpose of those items.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the entire purpose of it.
You guys don't build model rockets and go out in the back and shoot them off into the, or fireworks for 4th of July coming out there. Nothing like that.
None of that. It's all literally there specifically to kill people.
If anybody comes across it, is there a plan, an exit strategy? Is there this is what we're going to say, this is to make sure we're all on the same page, this is what we're going to do with this stuff?
No, they never planned that ahead, and whatever planning that they had behind my back is kind of futile at this point.
Which actually brings me to another question is, did you reach out to Brandon and tell him what happened?
Holy moly, these are some next-level youngsters. You think young people today only drink and play video games. Instead, they build bombs and plan terrorist attacks. The detective is doing a great job. He is acting interested and excited, and Devon just keeps talking.
Tell him what happened?
No, but the only communication that I've had with him since then is him staring me down from like his car and then me staring at him.
Do you think he knew what happened? Do you think he would have somehow gotten word? Did Andrew or Jeremy have a chance to get a call out for help?
No.
Or a call to him that, hey man, Devon's not falling in line today.
No, not at all.
Where was Brandon?
Brandon was actually at drill for his National Guard stuff, and he's in the National Guard with that MOS that I mentioned.
I mean, you mentioned earlier that you didn't wake up with this plan, but was that by design that this happened without him there? Do you think it would have been different if he was there? Do you think he might have been caught up in the casualties, or what do you think?
No,
would happen
I
if he
don't
was there?
think that. I think that they just said the wrong thing at the wrong time, and I think that I was
But he could have been there when they did the same thing.
If
right?
he did, yeah, but honestly, I'll be honest, I don't think that I would have killed Brandon. I probably would have just, I would have maybe done it out of necessity if he reached out for a handgun. But
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation. And to be honest, most of this isn't necessarily self-preservation as much as it is preserving people that...
No, I'm saying Brandon is
Brandon would have been
there,
absolutely.
right?
That would have been self-preservation.
No, in this you see is, well, you have made it clear that primarily it is, these guys were pushing your buttons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reflecting on it as you are, you served a greater purpose.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily what motivated you at the time. At the time, it was you were filled with rage from what you were reading, and these two start poking you with sticks essentially, and then desecrating your beliefs.
Yeah. So I mean, well, in hindsight, I can look back on it and say, okay, it's a tragedy. There's two human beings that have lost their lives. It wouldn't matter if they're both the incarnate of Hitler. It would still be kind of tragic. There's humans that have lost their lives here, and they could have easily, basically, chose a different path. I could have chose a different path and think this wouldn't have happened. And I can feel sadness over that for the rest of my life. But when it comes down to it, I don't really feel as if the reason why I mention that is for very precious context, that it's not like I killed just some random people. I killed people that were...
I got a question for you. When Brandon went to with Brandon there, would these guys still mess with you, or you understand what I'm saying? If he's there,
not to that extent, yeah.
But because he was gone on at the drill for military stuff, because he was gone, they picked that time to really with you a little more.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was like, and
when did he leave for drill? When?
I don't know. I was asleep when he left.
So early in the morning.
Yeah, early in the morning.
Today?
Yeah.
Or yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Okay. And another question I have for you. Do you have a cell phone?
I don't have it on me right now. They took it from me, the police.
Or did they? What's your cell phone number?
I remember, it wasn't all doom and gloom with these guys either. I have some positive memories with them.
You guys had a decent relationship.
Yeah, but it's just but even then, it's kind of you'll read about these reporters and stuff like that go over to Africa, and they'll have a warlord that's a friend of theirs, but the warlord still cuts the hands off of their child soldiers. That dude's still a piece of shit despite the relationship.
Yeah.
So it's while I have some positive memories, at the end of the day these people were basically planning on targeting innocent people.
But and you acknowledged that several months ago. Right? I mean, you came to realize that this is not the life.
This is just this is just a culmination of just a shit ton of
Why did you remain amongst these guys? Now, it begs the question as to why they tolerated you there. But why did you tolerate being around them?
Because I was an idiot, and I was just mainly thinking along the lines of, oh wow, I get to stay here in this really nice apartment, in this really nice condo, while paying a rent of $120 a month. And I have internet and stuff like that, so I might as well just, stay here.
Okay.
Just deal with the here and there bullshit.
Were you working?
I've been applying to a lot of places to get jobs, but it
How
just,
do you pay for your 100 and something rent? I mean, how does that?
I have my own money and stuff like that. So
Where does that come from?
From my parents, pretty much.
Okay, all right.
So I mean, I can. So, I can eat. So like the thing is that it was just really cheap living there. I could get away from my family for a bit, live more independently, and that's the reason why I was there. Unfortunately, I came over, and this whole unfortunate thing is unraveled.
Were you guys living together prior to?
Like I remember me and Brandon, we lived in an apartment. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it was an apartment like that before this condo.
Here in Tampa?
Yeah, here in Tampa. I remember I lived with him, and he was a lot more bearable. He was a lot less focusing on this stuff. He was a lot more normal, if that makes sense, like a normal human being.
So you think he has become more focused, to use your words, on the cause recently?
Yeah, I definitely think that, and I think that
Has he always been, dabbled in the bomb making stuff, or
like he always liked it as like a hobby type of thing in the past, but now it's just more like
now it's mission oriented?
Now
Now it's a certain
absolutely.
purpose.
Now it's like we're going to be insurgents, we're going to kill as many people as we can, and then we're going to do this to try to achieve white revolution, as they call it.
So this was a growing problem.
Oh, absolutely. It was growing, and their numbers kept on growing and stuff like that.
How do you think you would have continued to tolerate this or handle this? Do you think you would have been driven out at some point?
I think that I would have definitely been driven out. Like today, I was at my boiling point. I was supposed to just messaging before the shooting, pretty much. I was literally, I had the Skype open, and I was like about to type like, dude, I'm packing my shit. I'm going back to Orlando. You guys can go fuck off, pretty much. And I was gonna then contact the FBI or some local police to go like that. Unfortunately, it didn't really play out that way.
Is that because these guys were pushing your buttons, or you said, you know what, I got to take care of, I got to do some good here for humanity?
It would be both. I think that the best option would have been me saying like what I said, get out of there, contact the authorities, be like, hey, this is not a good plan to live. There's a lot of people here, this condo, and at these locations planning X, Y, and Z, and that would have been far better.
So you see that you could have chosen a different path, how to handle this. So the killing of these two individuals was more personal at the time. Again, we look back now and say, yeah, you probably saved lives in the process, but that wasn't necessarily what guided you at that particular instance. Am I understanding that right?
It was both, because I was on it. I was in the wire chat and the encrypted chat, and they were talking about it. Like, oh yeah, we're going to kill this people.
They being people on the wire chat.
Yeah, they being on the wire chat, with the same exact organization, same exact mindset.
But these two weren't in the room sitting there with you having that conversation.
No, they weren't. But it's like, it was like, I'll tell you, like, it was really short-sighted and dumb of me to do that. And I feel empathy for their families and stuff like that.
But not for them.
I feel empathy to a degree that I wish that they chose different choices.
Do you think that they that if you chose the path you look back on, reflect on now, and say you should have chosen, do you think it would have made a difference in their lives? Do you think that they could have come around and seen things maybe the way you see things?
No, I definitely don't think that.
Do you think that in the end they would have had to have been eliminated to prevent further death or carnage?
Yeah, and to a degree, now that I really think about it, as much as I don't want to say this because I've had a lot of good memories with Brandon, I wish that Brandon was there to kill him as well. Because now, because of Brandon specifically, he's pretty much the kingpin leader of this organization.
That's kind of how you'd explain it.
Knows exactly what's happened to me. If I was, let's say hypothetically, and I know it's not going to happen like that, but if I was released today, unless I was going to be on some FBI, like a whole new identity type of thing, I would be hunted and killed. My family could be hunted and killed.
Well, and if we're going to look at this as all-out war, you have eliminated enemy soldiers that are on the same side as Brandon. I would think Brandon would hold you in a lot of contempt just for that alone.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm telling you this also out of bare necessity of survival, as well as the fact of that
You think right now, if Brandon was there, that it would have been the right thing to do to take him out. Now, whether he reached for a gun or not, if he was just standing there saying, please don't, you think the right thing to do would be to end him as well in order to prevent this organization from...
As tragically as it is, yes, I think that honestly that would have been something that that would have been needed.
Did you, when you converted to Muslim?
Yeah.
All right. They were all aware of that.
Yes.
Did at any point in time, did you reach out for any assistance or any guidance or anything from anybody, like on the internet or chatting or anything? Or
No.
Or you just continue to do or listen to what they were doing with their encrypted stuff?
No, I did not. I didn't try to reach. I mean, in hindsight, it's very stupid what I've done. And honestly, like, it feels almost like all of this feels very surreal, like a dream, if that makes sense.
But you mentioned earlier you went to a mosque.
Yeah.
You were starting to kind of self-teach.
Yeah.
When you first discovered the Quran, when you were provided the Quran and you were reading it, then you went to a mosque, specifically one on Sly Avenue.
Yeah.
You went there and you immersed yourself in the people that you were targeting up to that point, and realized, you know what, these people aren't.
Yeah.
They're not the problem.
Yeah. So exactly.
So you kind of got caught up in that, in the religious faith.
Yeah.
They weren't there was no one specifically there that pulled you aside and said, listen, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
we're planning some things too against this other group.
You're absolutely
But
right. They have no
that-
clue. Like those people, like they don't even know me by name at that place because I go there specifically to read the resources and stuff like that were there at that place.
So that they are just they're just there to
bystanders.
serve out their faith and
they're not-
religion as any other
Yeah.
Christian would do in whatever denominational church that a Christian would attend.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And you is that with you and immersing yourself in that, the self teachings, the readings. You're saying that's how you kind of came around to thinking the way you do now?
Yes.
No outside source
outside
that
source.
recruited you or
nobody-
however you
Yeah,
read about today.
there is no outside source. No.
Okay, the outside source that you were a part of is this other group that
Yeah.
has been in your head for a while
Yeah,
now.
and I've been trying to find a way to get away for a while now, and it's like.
But it sounds like you did.
And it's like, and honestly, I went about it in a very dumb way, but at this point in this talking to you, it's more in my mindset of like, I got to do everything in my power to try to give you the knowledge that you need to put along to the people in control so that, people's lives can be protected. At this point, I think that I'll be killed either way, especially if that gets released, especially after I know for a fact that Brandon's probably told a lot of these people about what's happened. So I think that I'm already a dead man.
Well, do you think that whatever plan that you guys were going to carry out, specifically the lines down on Alligator Alley, do you think someone else is Brandon going to continue? Do you think it's still going to happen?
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, it's not going to happen.
So do you think you prevented that now by eliminating these two guys?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. 100%.
But Brandon's still alive, Brandon. I mean,
Brandon's still alive.
You didn't kill Brandon. Brandon's still the head of the snake is still alive.
I don't want anything to do with that. I'm in custody. Jeremy's dead. Andrew's dead. Brandon's entire condo is now police quarantine. He doesn't have access to the materials. He doesn't have access to the manpower.
But he could get it again, couldn't he?
He could, but it would take a while for him to do that.
Okay. Why is that? It's not something he acquires quickly?
Well, it's just not something he acquires quick.
How does he acquire this stuff? What?
I don't exactly know, but he just gets it through channels that, through legal and illegal means. By illegal means, he'll purchase it off of people that he meets, and I don't know anything about that, but I know that he just purchased it off of people. He went to USF, so he had access to a lot of these classrooms that had these chemicals, and he just steal them.
Okay.
And he also would purchase them legally, but in the smaller packets, and over time buy, a lot of them, so it would culminate into having a much bigger, quantity of them.
So you weren't necessarily part of that operation?
No.
You're aware of it because you're there.
Yeah,
you're aware of it because you're part of the group, and at one point you were a card-carrying member, really pushing forth the message.
Yes.
And then at some point you started to kind of get away from that. You found something something better, more worthwhile, but you were still there. You were still around all of it. So you were aware of it through that.
Yes.
Do I understand that right? You weren't actually going out and being a part of this at that point.
Yes.
But these three were still there. They were still on the cause.
Yes.
And you were just privy to all that.
Yes. Yes.
And today, like I said, you were listening or reading things that were stirring you up, and these two just piled on.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
Do you think if you were cleaning your weapon, if you weren't taking apart or dismantling the weapon, do you think if it was somewhere else in the house?
This is what it looks like when extremism goes to the extreme, in any political direction. Unsure about if Devon knows what political direction he was going, or was everything to him a huge mess?
In the house, you would have gone and sought it out and gotten it and still did what you did and come back and killed these two guys?
No.
You think just because you had it and it was just...
Yeah, I think that, and I lost complete control. Like, I went absolutely berserk. And the thing is that that's part of the reason why, like, I'm very, very concerned that when I go to the next place, I'd much rather, if I can, go to a hospital or immediately see the doctors when I go to the jail.
At the very least, be kept separate.
Yeah, absolutely. In an isolated chamber, and talk to the people at B, and they can pretty much, try to get me on the right stuff.
They can do like a keep separate from you. It's kind of confining for you, but
Sounds
it's
like kind of
for your
what you want,
safety.
though. You feel
Well, I'm not
safe,
concerned.
right?
I'm not concerned about the other inmates that would be there. I'm just concerned mainly of, like, I don't want to. I'm very prone to getting angry a lot. I'm very to the point where I think that I might be kind of sick in that sense.
Mhm.
And I want to get help for that. I want to be able to get the proper help. I think that I would much rather be at a mental hospital where I should have been, because my family's been telling me, like, go to a hospital, try to get this stuff sorted and stuff like that. And I'd very much like to go do that. I'd like to see my opportunities in trying to get my mind in in place, because obviously, like, I don't feel like I'm capable of living day to day like any other, like, normal citizen. Like, I feel like I just really want to get, like, the mental help that I can. I don't feel.
You think it's beyond your religious beliefs? You don't think that you can find that help in your faith? You think?
I think that my faith certainly helped me, but I mean, when it comes to, like, psychiatric help, that's more of that's a medical thing.
Right. Because you think that's where you have to go. That's
definitely,
what you need.
Yeah, I think that, like, that I would definitely be better off just, like, going to a hospital or something like that and just spending, like, time there trying to get my mind sorted.
Do you think that would change the course of what happened today?
Yeah.
I mean, considering the circumstances,
I think that
considering these guys' intent, or what you've explained is their intent in the grand scheme of things, do you think that you still would have
if I
chosen
had
a different opportunity, or chosen?
If I had, like, the mental help for it?
Do you think that? Yeah, you think if you'd followed your parents' advice and gone to this, and you still found yourself in this situation, you think you'd have reacted differently?
Yeah, I would have reacted differently. I probably would have just went for, like, a run, or I would have went for a walk, or would have just, like, went for there, packed my shit up, and left. I mean, I really I frantically need help. I frantically need help. I don't feel like I'm sane. I don't feel like I'm like. By that, I think it's also because I've done something today that I almost feel, even with the context that I've given and stuff like that, I feel horrible about it. I feel evil about it. I've taken somebody's son. I realize, it's just, and I remember how calmly and collectively I did it. That's just not healthy. And I remember just, like, thinking in the holding cell over there, I'm thinking, like, I really need to get help. And I talked to the officers about it. I'm like, I have to get help. I've got to get help.
Do you know their families? Jeremy and
I met Jeremy's family.
Are they still in Boston?
Yep.
Does he have any family here?
No.
How about Andrew?
I didn't meet his family, but they live in Boston.
Also in Boston?
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet in Boston?
Me and Brandon drove up to Boston, pretty much. I went with him because I figured, like, here's a cheap trip. I can go.
What was the purpose of going there? What was the purpose of you guys going there?
These two guys? Recreation. But, to meet with them. Recreation, as well as, like, networking for the group at that time.
If you were to give any advice to the FBI or any other law enforcement groups to identify this group or the channels that are associated with this group, where would they start? Where would you suggest they start?
That's too complicated for an answer. I mean, they could, I would really need to like meet with them, and I need to show them like the resources and stuff like that needed. It's such a huge answer that it's
Okay. Is there other resources, online resources, or are we talking about just, personal
online.
resources? Or?
Online and personal resources, and like it's absolutely huge. Like like the answer itself, like it'd be too simple for me to say like Iron March, because
Iron March and Stormfront, you mentioned two.
Iron March, well, like Stormfront's just an example of like a fascist like forum pretty much.
Okay.
Iron March is an example of like a wholehearted, like everybody on there is very very like dedicated, huge numbers of Atomwaffen guys on there, and you know, I remember Atomwaffen, like I say Waffen because it's German, like Waffen is in arms. Like,
Yeah, spell it for me.
yeah,
Spell that.
ATOMWAFFEN.
Okay.
So that's how it's spelled.
So Atom, like atom bomb.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, because he's a nuclear physicist and trained to be for a few years. So when
No,
Yeah.
Brandon, you didn't create this group. This group was created. You guys being
created
part
by
of it.
Brandon, yeah.
Oh, Brandon created it.
Yeah, Brandon created
Oh, okay.
this group, and I mainly like figure in my head like if I could get like a meeting with an FBI agent or something like that, I could shut down like not just Atomwaffen but several other organizations. Like
We could probably facilitate that.
I would very much like to do that.
Were you with Brandon when he created this?
I was not with Brandon.
Did you meet him through this? When he created it, did you meet him through?
I met him through the Tiny Chat, but that's just like I said, YouTube. It's like huge channel.
But did you meet him with this common interest?
Yeah, which was specifically like neo-Nazism, and I remember.
Okay, and that's how it kind of sparked your conversation with him.
Yeah.
Had he already created Atomwaffen at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it was very small at the time and stuff like that, and as the years went on, like just kept on getting bigger and bigger, and more, people came on board with more and more radical views and stuff.
But that was by design, wasn't it? That was kind of.
Well, yeah, it was.
Is some of these people in the military?
Yes.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier, and I just want to bring you back to it. You mentioned earlier that one of them had actually re-upped, went back in just for that.
Yeah, re-enlisted specifically to steal resources.
Jason in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he if I could just talk to an FBI agent like individually or something like that, if I could get my computer as resources, I could show them like all these channels and stuff like
So
that.
on your computer, there's the stuff that you've been a part of with this, and it would be
Yeah.
examples of what I'm talking about here. So when you
Well,
say
you
that
could
simple,
find-
as
you could find encrypted channels. You could find names easily. You can find people that I've been in contact with and stuff like that. It'd be very easy to identify who these people are.
through your resources.
Yeah,
you
through my
still have.
resources.
You didn't say
Yeah, I didn't
when
delete it.
when you converted. You didn't say, you know what, I'm putting this behind me. I'm ghosting the entire computer. I'm done. I'm moving on to something better.
Yeah, I didn't
it's
do
still
that.
there.
No, it's still there. Yeah. And
What
it's-
about just Brandon and Jeremy and Andrew? They had similar computers.
They have like laptops and phones and that kind of thing. It'd be very easy to go through it and find.
That will be on there. As
Yeah,
well.
phone contacts, wire chats, stuff like that. Very, very easy to get through that. A lot of these programs don't require, like Wire specifically doesn't require like a password or users. If you just open it up on either of their things, you can find the resources.
So you would need, in order to educate the anyone else that would be further investigating this group, you think having your computer, an FBI agent as you requested, sit down and go over this stuff, you think then you would open some eyes? You think you
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that it would open some eyes to a much bigger thing than what happened today. And I think that could definitely basically save a lot of lives overall. I think that could save
without necessarily murdering two individuals? You think there's ways to do it without using violence?
Yeah. I think I think there's ways of doing things without violence for everything, but I mean overall, when it comes to these sorts of people, if you could arrest them, ideally that would be better.
Would you refer to today as maybe a necessary evil?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, in hindsight,
what
yes.
you committed, it was a necessary evil.
In hindsight, yes. I just wish that it went away like in I think that's the best way to put it, a necessary evil.
I mean, you wish obviously you could snap your fingers and poof, they'd just disappear and it would go away. But
I
obviously,
think everybody does when it comes to taking the life, but it's
Well, yeah, I mean, hindsight and regret is one thing, but I'm saying you look at this and then you've made the statement that maybe even if Brandon was there, it might have been in the best interest of other people that you would have had the opportunity to kill him as well.
unfortunately, yeah.
And so if you had to do all over again, you think you would do it differently?
I do it differently to where I could think that I could get them all shut down without them losing their lives. I mean, I
You
feel
think that'd be a better way to approach
yeah,
it?
absolutely. I mean, it would have been better if they would have just gotten through the system and caught and maybe go to jail or something like that for what they were planning.
Do you think that if these two had, if they just would have stayed in their room and listened to their music or did whatever they were doing without actually writing you about your faith, do you think you still would have come to the conclusion as you're, taking apart your gun that these two just need to go?
No, I wouldn't have, because I think that they set me over the limit. Like they
Okay,
said,
that their behavior caused your
Yes.
reaction to
yeah, but it was also that was also in my head. That was the thing that's made me snap. I don't think that about an average person. Like if you started like pushing my buttons here or whatever, my thought isn't like, oh yeah, I gotta kill you.
Even if I took
Right.
the Quran and set it on fire and said, man, piss on this book.
If
of
you were
fairy
planning,
tales."
if you were planning on like, if you had plans and then also like plans to go kill Muslims and stuff.
No, if I was just indifferent about the whole thing, but I just thought everything.
I'd
was nonsense.
probably just say like, oh, whatever, you or something, just
Okay.
move on. But it's like,
But these guys
they
were.
just set me right over the limit.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You would be willing to sit down with an FBI agent and explain a lot of this stuff?
Yes, absolutely.
And
I want to.
Okay. Usernames and passwords.
Yeah.
You remember them? I mean,
I don't even need them. I can just
like your phone. What kind of phone do you have?
I have a shitty old phone, like it's a flip phone. But
Okay, so it's not. So you don't have
it's
like
not
it's not password.
There's no password for it.
What about the computer?
It's still open.
It's
Yeah.
still on. I lost it. However,
Any kind of booby traps on it, where if
No.
I'm not talking about like bullet explode, but I mean things would just shut down and
No.
erase if somebody didn't.
no, but Brandon's computer, I know for a fact, actually has on his computer he has encrypted. But I know that Jeremy and Andrews don't have that. FBI would not have a problem getting into brute forcing into those electronics. I mean,
What about username? That's password, but what about
there's no
username?
username for Windows logins for these computers. You don't need to put in the username for these.
Okay, so just have Facebook at all?
No.
No Facebook.
Any social media at all?
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't have a Facebook that I used for my own personal use. I had it for messaging people, but I used a fake name, and there's nothing on there that can be really found. It's just something that I used for petty, stupid shit, like playing Facebook games and stuff like that.
What was that? What's the name of that? Facebook.
I think it was John Coleman or something, but it's not really relevant to the case or anything like that.
No, but just so you can, obviously in this day and age, it's going to be a standard question. Well, everybody's got a Facebook. He must have a Facebook. This is what he has. So they can look at it and say, oh yeah, you're right. This is used for nothing more than petty games.
It's just, it's still really overwhelming, all of it, it's,
All that's happened.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that's
Well,
happened.
I wish I could tell you that. Killing two people is going to be something you can sleep off, but man, it doesn't work that way.
No, I know that. It's just
But you also realize that showing remorse, showing that if you could turn time back, you maybe do things a little different, get some help or something to that
I
effect.
just really want to get the help that I need. It's just, overall, it's just, I don't even know how I can even function. I don't even know, I feel like I'm afraid that, that tape's going to get released at some point. I'm going to be, basically killed. I'm afraid that I'm probably never going to get released.
Well, I think, first of all, like I said, we have means, all right, in a situation where there would not, police reports eventually over the course of time will become public record. However, there are means in order to.
Now, here's something important happens. Devon acknowledges that if he had received mental health support earlier, he might have reacted differently and avoided the violence. He also clarifies that the provoking behavior from his roommates pushed him over the limit. So this case also boils down to mental health. Appropriate schools, hospitals, and therapists can do a lot for a country and stop things like this from happening.
To keep certain things, certain sensitive materials, as I mentioned earlier, from being released to the public, if the threat is there that it's going to cause harm to somebody else. So if everything you're telling us today, this is a real, true threat, a concern. If your life is in danger, and if anybody follows that, then
I mean, it's
you're
good.
good.
It's like that's just like also my other concern. Like, I mean, I'm not necessarily afraid of death, but it's just like I'm afraid of living like I'm genuinely like afraid of of two things really. Like I'm afraid of like, I go in for life or something like that for what I've done. Because I mean, that's not really living if you're in a cell for the rest of your life.
That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. In which I'd probably just like hang myself within the first day that I'm there.
Okay, does it kind of go against faith though, or is at that point it's out the window? I mean, it's.
I don't know. I don't know if I could handle that. And it's like, and then on the other hand, if I somehow get some kind of plea bargain from this and then I get released, I might get killed by somebody else if like that gets released. Especially since they know that I.
Unless whatever information you can provide shuts down this group entirely, and these guys are just out of commission.
Well, that's the main thing. That's why I'm mainly helping y'all. Even if I go in for life, I want to shut down this organization.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, even in prison for the rest of your life, you can serve a purpose. Is from prison. I mean, that purpose could be to do the greater good.
Even if it's like, I just want to like really just go to a hospital and try to get help there.
Well, and that may be something too. Unfortunately, Detective Sandell and I sitting here don't get to make that determination. Our primary goal right here is to figure out exactly what happened and why it happened, and I think you've been very forthcoming with that, and we appreciate that. In the meantime, you've also expressed on numerous occasions that you wish to reach out to the FBI specifically about maybe doing some good, having some good come from this horrible event today.
Yeah.
And it may be something worthwhile. I mean, they're going to obviously be made aware of this, and they're going to do their homework to ensure that. Listen, and this is just speaking from a practical standpoint, just to make sure that you're not talking out your ass about something here in order to maybe gain some favorable treatment.
No,
okay, they have to confirm. No, I'm saying this is what they're going to listen to this and say, well, let's make sure this stuff's actually.
Well, I mean, the main thing that is really like true if you ever just walked into the condo. If you walk into the condo, aside from the two dead guys in the side, it's gonna seem really out of whack. You have giant North Korea, you have a big North Korea.
Yeah, it's gonna. It sounds like what you've painted a picture of is gonna reek of neo-Nazi. Yeah, absolutely. But going back to something I failed to ask you earlier, about what time did you do all this? What time did you kill these guys? Do you remember what time it was?
I don't even know the time.
Was it fairly soon after you walked into the office?
It was fairly soon. Yeah, it was fairly soon after. It's almost immediately like after that, because I called my parents on my phone and I said, "Look, I love you with all of my heart." And,
Did you tell them what you did?
Yeah, told them what I did. I said I just killed 2 people. I love you with all of my heart. I've made.
What was the reaction to that?
What you would expect. They were horrified.
I'm not sure anybody could expect any reaction specific to that.
They were horrified. My dad was telling me, "You need to go to a hospital. You need to get help there." And he thought that I was dreaming or something.
Did they believe that? But they believe you? They believe that you actually did that? Or they think there was some kind of
No, I mean, my mom definitely believed me. My mom told me to go turn myself in, and I remember I told her no, I can't do that. I was just terrified. I was very, very, very afraid. I was kind of hoping, like I said, for a SWAT team to just shoot me.
So after you did it, you walked right out of that apartment and walked over to the leasing office, I think, or did you go somewhere else after that? Before that?
After I left the condo, I shut the door. I remember I walked over to the Tampa Hamptons and I told people about what I've done. Then I left. I went over to the green smoke shop that was across the road, and I remember I talked to those people, and I police came in and.
For all that, immediately after shooting these guys, you put everything down and walked out of there. It wasn't a time where you sat down. I mean, you said you called your parents. How long did that conversation last?
Probably 5 minutes each.
Okay.
I remember just like.
Each? What do you mean? You just call them
Yeah,
separately?
it was because my mom and my dad are separate, so
Oh,
I
okay,
call
okay.
them like individually. And I remember.
They both live.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember just like I remember just being like absolutely just horrified after it happened. Like it feels like even now it feels like the world has stopped turning. It feels like
What are your parents' names? And do you have, I would imagine that she would appreciate maybe one of us reaching out to her and explaining to her what's going on. I imagine she's probably beside herself as to what's going on, what's happened to you.
Yeah.
And you haven't had an opportunity to contact her, so before she reaches out, if she hasn't already started driving over here. Does she know where you live?
No, she didn't know like where I lived exactly. She knew that I was in Tampa.
Okay, but she wouldn't know to drive to the apartment.
Yeah, she wouldn't know to drive to the apartment. It's just it's just now that I started thinking about like how my mom reacts to all this. It's just like
Was she helping you or dad helping you?
both of them were like they were both like helping me out and stuff like that. And whenever they'd give me advice, and my dad would always tell me like, you can come over here if you have issues and stuff like that.
What about financially? They both assist you financially?
Yeah, and sorry, it's just like this made me think about like how my mom and my grandmother reacted, and it's like I didn't kill just two innocent people that just happened to get me angry, and it's like, and I think I even realized that when I shot them, like I said about you, like when I told you like when you gave me the analogy, like what if I was doing X, and then like I wouldn't have probably just say off yada yada yada, but like
But you were harboring some
but if I
animosity toward these guys over time.
it was like my animosity was like up to here, and my hatred was up to here, and that just like
Not specifically for them though, but specifically for what they stood for
what they stood for the group, and for what they were planning and stuff like that.
And they represented all that, and they manifested that representation in an instant with their actions, and that caused you to do what you did.
Yeah.
It wasn't something you started to plan within a sort, even as long as 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You were sitting there, it's like, you know what, if these two don't stop, I'm doing this, and this.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the thought, or no, it was just an instantaneous reaction.
Sorry, I was tired.
No, I get you.
Repeat that one more time?
Was when these two were yipping and riding you about your faith and about what they were going to do, were you sitting there like, man, if you two don't stop, I'm going to put this thing back together, and I'm going to...
I didn't say that to them, no. They had no idea.
No, but I mean in your head, when you think that.
Yeah, I was thinking...
Put this thing together, and once I put it together, if you two don't stop, I'm taking care of business right now. I'm putting...
Yeah, I was thinking that, and like, I remember when I did it, like when he said that, like that set me over the limit, because I was walking over there, and then I heard him say that, and
walking over where?
I was walking towards that room, because I was walking from the supply closet with the washer 10, and I was just
already put together, ready to go, ready to
and it's like
rock and roll, and
yeah, it's just like I remember he said that, I pointed it at him, and he didn't react to that. I pulled the trigger, and I saw him.
Do you think if you would have cowered, like, all right, man, no, I'm sorry, that you would have?
Then I think that they would have immediately attacked me, probably tried to kill me.
But unless it was, yes, you got the reaction. See, he pissed his pants right there.
I think everybody would if somebody pointed a gun without.
I would think so, but you said this guy didn't react that way.
Well, it's because it's not like he realized it. It's because it was too fast. It happened too quickly for him to react.
Okay, so you didn't really actually give him a chance to take back and apologize.
Yeah.
He came in there already with the intention of pulling the trigger.
Yes, and
so if he started, I'm sorry, he would have barely gotten that out before he was taking the first bullet.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but he wasn't even putting up his arms.
I
know. It's just like, well, no, if he put up his arms or something like that, I probably would have stopped myself.
Okay, you think there would have been a time? You didn't just walk around the corner.
I probably would have just been like, it's not loaded as a joke or something like that. Run back to the room, place it there, and just like immediately start packing my shit and leaving.
No, what was the first thing you did after the shot? Did you walk up and check him?
I had adrenaline. No, I had adrenaline. I saw him hit the ground. I hit him again. Andrew was running over to his gun, so I take him down with 2 shots, and they were killed instantly. So it's like they were killed instantly. It wasn't like it took a lot.
You said Andrew went for his gun. There's the officers that went in there initially to I think, to clear and make sure everything was all
I
right.
thought that I could have sworn they had a firearm in the corner of the room on top of on top of a dresser. There was his handgun there with a few magazines.
The officer said that they found there was actually one of the two, based on what you're saying, I'm assuming it's Andrew, actually had a gun on his hip.
Probably, yeah, definitely Andrew. So he's running over to it and he had it like that. I mean, when he grabbed it, he fell and then he fell like that. I don't know.
Okay, but you in your mind, he's now making a move to that. I mean, but at that point, let's say Andrew froze, stood there in fear. Do you think you would have reacted and shot Andrew in the same manner? Or do
I
you
don't
think
know. I don't know.
Jeremy he's getting it because
Yeah.
he's running this trap.
I-
But Andrew, was that reaction or was that, you know what, I'm going in there and Jeremy and Andrew, that asshole's getting it too. Regardless, even if Andrew's just sitting there reading a book.
I don't know. I don't know.
Was Andrew running his mouth too?
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
I remember just like I honestly don't know. It's just like
I mean, was there a reason why Jeremy got it first, or was he just the first one you encountered when you walked into the room?
his first one that I encountered.
Okay, so if Andrew did this division, and Andrew would have gotten it
Yeah,
first.
they just said the wrong things at the wrong time.
Together they said those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember just like I don't know. It's so like really horrifying to think about. You know, it's like is there any way that like we can have like another meeting like this after this at all?
If you, I'll tell you what, we could probably talk about doing that, and there probably will be a time where that opportunity may arise.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're starting to wear down, man, we could.
Well, it's not about me being like I don't even think that I'm going to be able to sleep, but it's like but you just I don't know. It's like
You're
have you ever killed anybody before?
It's hard to relive it
Yeah,
over and over.
It's fatigue, man.
So all right, so you know how it feels, right? Like so you have killed a guy before.
It's
For
not-
the
it's
interviews,
it's
we
not-
understand.
It's not
Interviews.
pleasant.
All right, yeah, it's just like, and it's like the only way that I can rationalize it is like, really like these people were planning on killing other people. If I had not done this, there would have been attacks and stuff like
But
that.
I want to be certain that I understand this correctly, because I don't want to. If I had the opportunity to speak, I don't want to put words in your mouth. If somebody asked me, I want to make sure I got your.
All right, yeah.
Is that you're saying that, but that's reflection after the fact.
That's reflection.
That wasn't something you was going through your head when you walked into that room and said, you know what, these guys need to be stopped. I need to be the one to stop them.
Yeah.
It was you going into the room was a reaction to what they were saying
Yeah.
and goading you.
Yeah.
You look back now and say, you know what, but it had to be done anyway. It's probably,
Do I
understand that correctly?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's not out of like trying to like falsely like rationalize.
No, I get what you're saying.
And I already had those thoughts in my mind of the sense of like these people are worthless, these people are the worst, and stuff like that. So I mean, I already had these minds.
Well, like you mentioned, if they were decent people and just running their mouths, you wouldn't have necessarily gone to this extreme.
Yes, yeah. So it's like,
But you've already had this stuff building up against these
Yeah.
individuals,
yeah,
and today you just blow it over.
yeah, and unfortunately, it culminated with what is today. It's like, oh man, like it's all really, really like surreal to me. Like all of this, like I know it sounds strange, like everybody would be like, well, I mean, if you didn't want this to happen, well, why did you do it?
No, I think those people don't fully grasp the context of the moment.
I just wish that things played out differently. Obviously, it's just I
believe that.
I don't feel happy.
I believe you feel that way.
don't feel happy that this happened. I feel sick, and I feel like I'm not right in the head. And I feel like once I get there, like if I can, I just want to talk to the doctors and be like, look, like I need to be isolated and I need to be transferred to like a hospital or something like that to get the right meds, to get the right things, for me to be thinking properly. I don't feel right, And that's not just the fatigue of what's happened and everything like that. It's just the whole, everything. I don't know if
Well, I think it's a collection of everything. So
Yeah.
at this point, what we'll do is we'll conclude things now, okay, and then we'll at least start the process that you're referring to, maybe get to the jail,
Okay.
and then see what doctors can do for you. Your situation go there, all right?
All right, yeah,
All
that
right.
sounds excellent. I don't want this because like I know the Dylan Roofs thing, like his incident,
Mhm.
like I know that went on TV and that went on YouTube, like his interview that he had with detectives, and I'm terrified of that happening with me. that will get people killed. That doesn't just endanger me, that endangers your lives as well.
I don't condone that type of thing from police departments. We don't operate that way. Okay, what happens in here is for strictly legal purposes. It's not for entertainment purposes, which is what I consider that kind of stuff.
We would not release something like this.
No.
This is part of this case.
All right, I appreciate that.
And that's more important than...
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be like an ass or anything.
You're not,
and
man,
I
you're
understand that. It's just like your lives would be endangered too. I'm just saying.
We don't necessarily have a subjective thought in this whole situation. Okay. So we are in the business of just getting the truth out there. We're not in the business of putting anyone else's life in danger. Matter of fact, we're in the business of preventing loss of life as best we can.
All right.
So even though you have killed 2 people, we don't judge you in the matter that, hey, well, you know what goes around comes around. That's not how we operate, okay? We will protect you like we would protect anybody else in this situation.
Part of me, like, I just wish that they could just give me, like, a choice. Like, I wish they'd give me the choice of, like, life or death sentence or something like that. I prefer to just get, like, a death sentence or something like that. I mean,
that's something you have to, you will get appointed attorney. I know you didn't necessarily want one through this process, but the part of the due process, you will get one. And that's something you can discuss with your attorney.
So I can actually talk to the attorney and be like,
Yeah.
look, like, if they have life on the table, can I push for death? So I can actually talk to him.
You can try, yeah. I'm not sure how well that goes over, but you can give it a shot.
I would literally beg the jury. I'd
Wow.
say, kill me.
Well, the jury is not somebody you'd be talking directly to. It'd be your attorney. It starts there. Okay?
All
You
right.
made it clear here to us. Your attorney will be privy to that, but that's something you can speak directly to your attorney about. We don't get to make that call. Okay?
All right. It's just like, I don't know. It just all feels really, really like surreal to me and stuff like that.
I think it's going to continue to feel that way, and
Yeah.
maybe if you do see somebody get that help you need, you might start to, see it differently.
Yeah.
Because right now we're going to conclude this interview. It's 3:05 a.m.
All right.
You feeling a little bit better? You got a little bit of it off your chest?
I've gotten a lot of it off my chest. I was able to talk to you and the officers over there, and they're very helpful, and y'all are very helpful. It's like, I just,
I'm not sure anything's going to really truly make you feel better about what's going on. You're not so far gone, man, that you don't feel all the things you're supposed to feel in this situation. So, I know you say that, you don't feel right in the head or you feel good, but, there is things are firing correctly inside there. You just may not, you may need a little extra attention, okay?
well, it's just like all of my life, like I've always just had like a little bit of issues, but like nothing to where I took meds or anything, but I just really want to just,
Unfortunately, not downplay it, but killing 2 people with an assault rifle is more than just a few issues, okay?
This was a tough one. We saw Devon Arthurs' mindset and reasons behind his actions laid bare under intense scrutiny. Maintaining a composed demeanor, Arthurs gave varying accounts, at times asserting that he killed his roommates to prevent a planned terrorist attack, and at others pointing to their disrespect of his faith as the tipping point. During the questioning, he revealed unsettling information about the Atomwaffen Division, detailing their violent goals and their admiration for neo-Nazi figures. His conflicting explanations painted the picture of a young man deeply immersed in extremist beliefs and grappling with serious mental health issues. Arthurs faced charges of 2 counts of first-degree murder for the killings of his roommates, Andrew Oneschuk and Jeremy Himmelman, along with armed kidnapping and aggravated assault connected to a hostage incident at Tampa's Green Planet smoke shop. His defense initially considered an insanity plea, backed by diagnoses including schizoaffective disorder and autism spectrum disorder. In May 2023, Arthurs entered a guilty plea for 2 counts of second-degree murder, accepting a 45-year prison sentence accompanied by 15 years of probation. Meanwhile, his roommate and fellow Atomwaffen Division co-founder, Brandon Russell, had already pleaded guilty in 2017 to federal charges related to illegal firearms and explosives, receiving a 5-year sentence. That's all for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe.